everyone, Cynthia from the Pinocchio Jubilee Library here with your video on 3D animal crafts. So once a month for the next few months, we are going to be releasing a 3D paper animal craft for you guys to do. And as you can see, we do have a variety of different animals, but all of the steps are the same. So all of your kits are going to include a bundle of instructions, a bundle of cardstock that you're going to have to cut out, and some glue. We specifically use white glue, but you can use different types of glue if you want at home, if you have a faster drying glue. I do not recommend glue sticks as it's just not strong enough to keep the cardstock together. Other tools I would suggest you use are a ruler, scissors, and possibly a pencil. All right, let's get going, and I will show you some tricks so you can start building your animals. The first step that you have to do with your animal is to take the cardstock and trim all of the solid black lines. So basically you're going to cut out every single piece by just following the solid black lines. You only cut solid black. You'll notice that there are two other types of lines on each piece. You have just a simple dotted line here, and you also have something that's called a dot dash line. So the dotted lines indicate how you're going to fold the piece of paper. So once you're done cutting out each piece by trimming off with a solid black line, you are going to then pre-fold each piece based on the lines that are still present. There are two main types of folds that you have to learn to do these kits, and they are known as valley fold, which quite simply is when you have a piece of paper and you fold it up like so to create a V or a valley shape. As you can see, the valley shape. The other type of fold you're going to have to know is the exact opposite, which is known as a mountain fold. So basically, you just fold the opposite way to create a mountain-like shape. So the dash, dash, dash lines indicate a valley fold. So that means taking your ruler, line it up against the dot, dot, dot lines, and fold up, like so. And you notice you have that beautiful valley shape. So I have another set of dash, dash, dash lines there. So that indicates a second valley fold. You are going to want to pre-fold all of the pieces before you start attaching them with glue. So I'm just going to go throughout this entire fella. For every dash, dash, dash line, I am going to do a valley fold, so fold up. My next step is to look for mountain fold lines. So that is the dash, dot, dash, dot. That means I'm going to be folding under to create a mountain-like shape. So what I do for that is I move the ruler underneath the line and just kind of line it up like so. Gently fold it a bit so I know that the line matches up, and then mountain fold. Okay, the next step that you have to do is you don't have to pre-fold all of the pieces all at once. I often just fold along as I go, so I'll fold like the first two pieces and then glue them together, and as that dries, I will then move on to folding the second piece. So I finished folding this piece, it's all cut up. Now you'll notice this number, A13. This is a main number, so this whole section is known as A13. And this is where you look at the instructions, and, for example, part A13 is to be attached to part A15. So I take part A13 and attach it to A15. So what that means is I have to find A15. Got parts 13 and 15. Now, you might have also noticed that there are little black numbers on the edges of your pieces. These little numbers tell you where to connect the two big pieces together. So, for example, you notice that I have 45, 45, and then here, 45. So that means that these two pieces are going to slide in together, like so. They're going to slide like that. You'll also notice that this is a 50 piece and that is a 50. So that also means that this piece is going to slide in together. You might wonder how to put the pieces, like which side to glue on where. Basically, you always take the flap, and glue it on top of the inside. Okay, so the flap always goes on the top of the inside of the piece. All of the lines indicate the inside of the piece. No lines is the outside of the piece. So, this is the inside because you can see all the black and the lines. 45. I'm going to take this 45 ridge and just put it over here. And that's where I'm going to glue it. So just put glue where it's been bent. So I'm going to put the glue on that side. Now I'm going to put all right, there we go. First section is glued. So then what you should do is just hold it, press it down. Even for just 10 seconds, I generally like to do 20. Just because that way the glue is going to be evenly spaced out and it gives it a good chance to dry off. Now, same thing here. You see this little 50? So his little ridge is already on the top. That's good. The numbers match. And there you go. So, as you can see here, 42 is here. This is also 42. So that means it has to connect like so. And 41, 41. So, it's gonna end up like that. You can flatten it, or if you're really good at some people like to flatten it like I do, some people don't. So for connections, for round connections like these, you do have to make sure it completely dries before you keep moving. So you want to wait at least 20-30 seconds. Some other things that you can do, some other tricks, is if you end up wearing down the paper too much with too much glue, that's okay, because if there's a little hole or something that pops up, take some of the scrap pieces of paper that you have and just trim off some, and you can use it to patch it up. So, for example, if you're looking at my dolphin, You'll notice that there's actually some puncture marks there. That came from my cat. And she actually made a big hole. So what I did is I took one of these and just glued it on top like that. And that covered the hole. So it's always okay to cover up holes that you might make. That's why we have the paper there. Use the scraps to your advantage. Same thing, don't be afraid to pull the paper together. If you end up not folding the lines quite straight, that's okay too. Again, any gaps that might appear in the animal, use the scraps to cover it and to make another connection. The other thing that you have to remember about this craft is you need to be patient. If you're losing your, if you're starting to get frustrated while you're doing it, take a breather, step back, maybe come back to it another day. Quite often what I like to do is maybe put on something long to listen to or watch, and then I can just keep slowly applying the glue and the pieces together. The good news is the animals actually start taking shape right away. And I guarantee it, guys, once you start seeing the form of that animal pop in, you are going to be amazed at the fact that you are building a 3D animal out of paper.